DreAllDay.com.
What's going on, everybody who's coming into the room? Grayson, thank you for the hearts. Please, y'all, keep coming in with the hearts. Dream Chaser Dre, what's going on? Let me know who you are, where you from. MVWTK, I see you. What's good, KEHCO? Listen, this is Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. We about to talk about placing the bet on yourself. James from Chicago, what's going on? We're talking about placing the bet on yourself, the actions that you need to take. Humble Q22, Grayson's from Richlands, Virginia. Andre from Brooklyn, Raul from San Jose. Listen, we about to talk about placing a bet on yourself. That's what we're talking about right now in this scope. Tampa, Florida, Humble Q, okay? I think he was in the other day. MVW. Nice emojis right there for me. So what we about to talk about is placing a bet on yourself. And what this is about is that obviously there's a lot of people out there. Everybody who's watching this video, everybody wants to do something. Everybody has something that they want to do. Everybody has somebody that they want to be, somewhere that they want to get to, something that they want to achieve. Raider Nation, thank you. He liked the WOYG shirt. Y'all know what that stands for. I hope so. KEHCO. Everybody has something that they want to achieve, somewhere that they want to go, something that they want to do in life. And before I even get to the rest of this, please keep hitting those hearts if you're watching. Hit the hearts till your fingers start hurting. I want you to have to go to the hand doctor. What they call the hand doctor. Something's wrong with your hands. I know orthopedist, then they got the podiatrist, then they got the chiropractor. So what do they call it if there's something wrong with your hands? Is there such thing as a hand injury doctor? Whoever that is, yeah, Raider Nation got carpal tunnel already. So whatever doctor it is for that, I want everybody to have to go to the doctor because they was hitting too many hearts. Please keep hitting the hearts. Swipe to the right. Share this with your followers on Twitter. Let them know that we about to go in talking about what we talking about, placing a bet on yourself. Let people know that I'm up to 78,000 hearts, I think. I'm trying to get to 100,000. I need to get to 100,000 orthopedic, I guess. All right, MVW said orthopedic, thank you. So I guess we want to send everybody to the orthopedics for your hands. I thought orthopedics. I guess that's the whole body. But anyway, so look, all right, Raiders say he got 20K for me alone. Well, I need 22, Raiders. Can you do a little bit extra? Can you do 10% extra and get me to 22? I need 22,000 to get to 100,000. Now, if we could do that in this one, that'd be crazy. I don't know if we're going to be on here long enough for you to do it. But anyway, we're talking about placing the bet on yourself. Here's the thing. Everybody has something that they want to achieve, somebody that they want to become, something that they want to do, something that they want to acquire, whether that be money, whether it be a house, whether it be a car, whether it be some type of reward, somebody you want to help, some achievement that you want to get to, some person that you want to become. You want to become this great individual, or you want to become a better individual than you are right now, wherever you at, no matter what your level of success. And here's the thing. All you got to do is a very simple formula. All you got to do is place a bet on yourself. And what does that mean, place a bet on yourself? Placing a bet on yourself, and y'all understand what betting is. Y'all know what gambling is, right? You might not be the gambling type of person, the person who goes to a casino and puts some money in a slot machine, because you know the law of averages is you're actually going to lose more money gambling than you will ever make gambling. There are some people who might hit for $1 million, but for the most part, for every one person who hits for $1 million, there's a million people who lost $1. So it averages out that the casino always wins. Actually, it's 10 million people that lost $1. That's how they're able to pay somebody $1 million, because they made 9. The house always eventually wins. But what I'm talking about when I say bet on yourself is, you got to put some type of risk up against the house being the rest of the universe, on yourself that you're going to win. So what exactly does that mean? At some point in your life, whatever it is that you want to achieve, you got to step out. You got to step across that comfort zone line. We talked about this. I talk about this almost every time I talk. You got to step across that comfort zone line where you're putting something on the line for yourself. There's something that you're putting on the line that you might lose if you don't achieve what it is that you stepped across that line to achieve. For example, when one raw example was back in the ancient times, back in ancient Rome, Julius Caesar had this small army. He was from Rome. He had a small army that he left Rome with, and the guy who was running Rome for some reason didn't like Caesar. He crossed Caesar behind his back. Caesar said, and Caesar knew if he crossed this river and goes back into Rome, then it means that he's going to war with this guy who was ruling Rome, and somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose, and whoever loses got to die. And Caesar said, listen, the die has been cast, which means like rolling dice. He said the die has been cast. They crossed that river. He crossed the Rubicon River into Rome, went to war, and he won, and Julius Caesar became Julius Caesar. That's why y'all know who he is. The point of that is he had to cross that river, and he knew that if he crossed that river, he had to go to war, and he knew that going to war meant somebody's going to die. Either I'm going to die or the guy I'm going against is going to die. But somebody has to die in this war. There is no making up. There is no, oh, let's shake hands and talk it out. There is a neutral way that I can come back across the river if we start losing. If I see it's not working out, I can come back to the safety net of being across on the other side of this river. It was none of that. Once I cross this bridge, either I'm going to become the king, I'm become the ruler of Rome, or I'm going to lose my life. It's A or B. It's one or the other, and he decided to cross that river. He won. He killed that guy, and that's why we all know who Julius Caesar is. The guy he killed, I can't remember the guy's name. I think it was Pompey. It don't even matter what his name is, because Julius Caesar won. He's the guy that we all remember. That's the guy you get your haircuts named after, Julius Caesar. Now, this is the thing. All of you, at some point in your life, if you really, really, really want to achieve what you think that you want to achieve. Now, it doesn't have nothing to do with you announcing it to nobody or saying it on Periscope or tweeting it or Instagramming about it or telling your friends or telling your teacher when they ask you what you want to be when you grow up. It don't have nothing to do with none of that. Whatever you know deep in your gut that you actually want to achieve in your life, something you want to obtain, somebody you want to be, somewhere you want to go, something you want to have, whatever it is, if you really, really want to do it, at some point in your life, you got to put yourself in a position like Julius Caesar was in when he crossed that river and went to war in Rome to take his crown. You got to put yourself in a position where, listen, I'm crossing the line right here, and then there's either one of two things going to happen. Either I'm going to become successful and I'm going to get the thing that I say I want, or I'm going to die trying to do it. I'm going to die trying to achieve this goal, whatever it is. And please, y'all, swipe to the right, hit that share button, share this on your feeds, let people know that we're talking right now about placing a bet on yourself. Another good example that's a more modern example, 50 Cent. 50 Cent the rapper. He was a rapper. He was coming up. Y'all know 50 Cent's story. He was coming up in rap. He was starting to get on, starting to get a little bit of buzz. He got shot 9 times, damn near died. He recovered from his wounds, and he said, all right, well, forget it. Now I'm going to get rich or die trying. At this point, I'm going to put together a crew of people to help, protect me and also help promote my music. I'm going to put this music out. Either I'm going to get rich by doing this music thing. I'm getting out of the streets. I'm not going to do drug dealing no more. I'm getting out of the streets. But I know the people who tried to kill me, they're going to find out I didn't die. So they're going to try to kill me again. So I got two choices right now. I'm either going to get rich or I'm going to die trying to get rich. But living in the middle is not going to work, because living in the middle is what had me 1 foot in the drug game, 1 foot in the rap game. So I was a halfway drug dealer and I was a halfway rapper. Neither one of them was working too well. I ended up getting shot and damn near I lost my rap career, damn near lost my life at the same time. I can't go back in the streets no more. So being in the middle didn't work. So now I'm right here with this line. I'm either going to die because those people are going to come find me and kill me, or I'm going to get rich. But it's one or the other. He made an absolute decision. He placed the bet on himself. He said, all right, ain't no such things as halfway crooks, right? Mobb Deep, you know what I'm talking about. So, and you from, the Humble's from Tampa, but somebody from New York who was in here too, but you know New York rap. So anyway, it's the exact same idea. He said, I'm either going to get rich or I'm going to die trying. It's one or the other. And you saw the type of energy that goes into, when somebody has that type of energy, when somebody really makes that real decision, they got so much energy behind them that they just going to make stuff happen. You got to get out their way. The world will get out of your way once you made a real decision. Once you place a bet on yourself, the world just moves out of your way. When 50 said, I'm going to get rich or die trying, everybody cleared the lane for him, and he went and sold 10 million records. He became world famous, and now he's a worldwide name brand. Over 10 years later, after the fact that he decided, like, this is either going to go one way or it's going to go another way. You got to place a bet on yourself. If we keep the thing in music, we keep it in music. Look at somebody like Diddy, Puff Daddy. I know a lot of y'all don't even know Diddy as really like a rapper, but I remember when Biggie died in the late 90s. Biggie died, and he was like the biggest rapper out. Tupac had just died the year before. Big died. He was the biggest rapper. He passed away. He's the biggest guy on the East Coast, of course. And everybody's looking at Bad Boy and Puffy and Diddy, whatever you want to call him. They're like, oh, well, that's the end of Bad Boy. He was their biggest artist. He died. It's over for them. It's just like if Lil Wayne died, what's Cash Money going to be? Or if Drake died, what's OVO going to be? You can't even name none of the other people they got. So anyway, Biggie died, and they like, ain't nothing going to happen with Bad Boy. Puffy, he a producer. He ain't got nobody to produce. He ain't going to do nothing. He had to make a decision. He had to place a bet on himself. What did he do? He came out with his own album. He sold 10 million records. He sold damn near as many records as Biggie has sold on his record. And then all of a sudden, Diddy became the man. He became the biggest dude in rap. For that 2-year period after Big died, he was the biggest rapper in rap. And he wasn't even a rapper. He wasn't even writing his raps. It only had nothing to do with that. That's a detail. It was a minor detail. The point of the matter is, he made a decision that, listen, I'm placing the bet on myself right now. Either Puffy is going to become the biggest rapper in the game, or my whole company is going underwater because my man died and we ain't got no other superstar. So either I'm going to become that superstar and I'm going to make everything pop off, or this is all over. It's either one or the other. And y'all saw what happened. It's over 20 years later. It was about 20 years later. And look where that man is at. He's #1 on the Forbes hip hop money making list. And he ain't even rapping no more. And that's because he made a decision at that point. If he hadn't made that decision, none of the stuff that happened afterwards would have happened. So it's the same thing with everybody that's watching this video. Doesn't mean you got to have a tragedy. Doesn't mean you got to go to war and put a knife through somebody's heart in order to become emperor of Rome like Caesar did. Doesn't mean you gotta get shot 9 times in front of your grandma's house because you're dealing drugs like 50 Cent did. Doesn't mean your best friend and your #1 business asset gets killed like Puffy did. That means you at some point, actually, let me go back a little bit. Because when I say it doesn't mean you had to do all that stuff, it doesn't. But understand this. The same idea, the mentality, the energy that went behind those guys, they had to have that energy. When 50 Cent got shot 9 times and he had to come back to his neighborhood after he got shot, he knew what the rules were, but that somebody was going to try, whoever shot him and didn't do the job, they was going to send somebody to do it right the next time. That was the rules of where he was from. This is what he writes about in his book, The 50th Law, with him and Robert Greene. One of my favorite books. He had no choice but to put himself in a mind frame like, okay, I either got to get rich or I'm going to die. It was a real situation. It wasn't just something he decided to make up because it sounded good, something that would look funny on Twitter that would get a whole bunch of retweets and shit. It wasn't about that. It was real. He really had to make that choice. Is get rich or die trying. He really had to do that. The thing is, he was forced to do it. When Puffy, he wanted to keep his company going, and Big was that he was forced. The only way he was going to be able to maintain his company, the thing he had poured his entire life into, which was the music and his business, was for him to become a star, because otherwise his company didn't have nothing to sell. They had nobody else to market but Puffy. So he had to become the superstar. Julius Caesar is the same thing. He didn't have nowhere to call home but Rome, but the only way to be called Rome home was to go kill the guy who was running Rome and make himself emperor. He had no choice but to do it. So all of you, then this is something that Robert Greene talks about in his book. You might not have a life or death situation right now. You don't have a bullet with your name on it. There's nobody running around trying to kill you right now. Nobody killed your man. There's nobody forcing you to go to war so you could come home and have a comfortable place to live. But what you had to do is be able to put yourself in the same frame of mind that those individuals is into for you, in order for you to have the exact same energy. Because if your frame of mind is anything less than that, if your frame of mind has, if there's even 1 ounce in your mind that says, you know what, if this doesn't work out, I can always go and do plan B. Or if this doesn't work out, I can always go do that. And if this doesn't work out, I can always kind of retread and kind of figure it out and regroup and try to start it all over again. If you have that in the back of your mind, if it's in your subconscious mind, you understand that your subconscious mind controls most of your behavior. I'm reading this book right now called Power Cues by this guy called Nick Morgan. One of the things he talks about in that book is that the subconscious mind controls most of what we do. Most of the things, 95% of the things we do as human beings are habitual things that we do over and over again without even thinking about it. Like the way that we talk, the language that we use, our body language, the places that we go. You think about it, the places that you frequent on a normal week, you usually take the exact same route, you go to the exact same places, you talk to the same people, you talk the same ways. Even when you meet somebody new, you got the same habits, the same things you say to them, same way you answer questions. We are habitual creatures. So the point of the matter is this. The reason I bring up the subconscious mind is if you have any inkling in your subconscious mind that says, if this doesn't work out, I can always go back, or I can always do plan B and plan C and plan D, or if this doesn't work, it's okay because I always got this other thing going on the side, you will never be able to put 100% of your energy, 100% of yourself, 100% of your passion and your spirit and your body into that main #1 thing that you're working on right now, whatever that happens to be. Even if you're working on 5 things, if you say, listen, all 5 of these things got to work out, however it got to work out, I don't know how it got to work out, but it has to work out. I have no plan B besides making all 5 of these ventures all pop off the way that I want to, no matter how long it takes. You put yourself in that frame of mind, those 5 things are going to work. They're going to fall just like dominoes in order the way that you want them to, the way that they have to. But if you give yourself an out clause, anytime you give yourself an out clause in life to do something and you're going against a force that does not have an out clause, you're going to lose. If you're going against someone who doesn't have an out clause, you're going to lose. I remember Mike Tyson, when he lost his first fight, this guy named Buster Douglas. Buster Douglas was a journeyman boxer. He had never been that great at boxing. He wasn't that great at boxing before. And I'm going to tell you what happened after. Mike Tyson goes to fight Buster Douglas. Mike Tyson had gotten fat and lazy on his success. He had been winning all these fights. He had been just killing dudes in the first round. Nobody could mess with Mike. The fight was in like Japan somewhere. So Mike got there late, so he had jet lag. He didn't really train the way he was supposed to. And Buster Douglas, his mom had passed away right before the fight. Because I remember after the fight, they interviewed Buster. He was like, yo, my mom passed away right before this fight. I was doing the fight for my mom. His mom passed away. All of a sudden, Buster Douglas had a whole new motivation. He went from being this journeyman, okay, mediocre boxer to being this guy who had no choice but to win. And he's going against a guy that a lot of boxers were scared to fight at the time. A lot of boxers were scared of Mike Tyson, let alone not beat Mike Tyson, but scared to even sign a contract to fight the dude. Buster Douglas went in there and whooped Mike Tyson's ass because he didn't have no choice. His mom had passed away. It was so important to him to win that fight because he said, I'm doing this for my mom. When he was doing it for himself, he didn't have enough motivation to be a great boxer. But when he was doing it for his mom, he kicked Mike Tyson's ass, took the championship belt. And you know what happened right after Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson and won that belt and he had that great fight? Any of y'all who remember back then know exactly what happened to Buster Douglas after that. He went and lost his next fight. He went right back to being a mediocre boxer all over again because the motivation was gone. That get rich or die trying mindset, he had it for one fight. It got him the greatest success in his life. He will forever be known in history. I know his name because he won that one fight. Everything that happened before that fight and everything happened after that fight, he's a nobody. But for that one fight, that one night, he had that mentality and he did something great. So what if he could take that same mentality? What if you could take that same mentality and apply it to your entire life for a week? What if you did it for a month? What if you did it for a year? What if you did it for 10 years? And the thing is, it can't be sporadic. And this is something that I was talking about in the long stream that I did, the long scope that I did yesterday. You got to develop you got to develop the muscle. It's like conditioning. So it's like if you condition yourself to run a mile every single day. You run a mile every day for a month, and then you take 3 weeks off. When you come back that next day, you're not going to be conditioned anymore. You're starting from ground zero all over again. It's the exact same thing with your emotions. It's the exact same thing with your mental makeup. You got to condition yourself for this stuff. Please keep hitting those hearts, y'all. All y'all hitting the hearts, I really appreciate it. Keep hitting the hearts. Swipe to the right. Share this with your friends on Twitter. Listen. You got to develop the emotional muscle of doing it every single day. So first of all, this is the number one step. You got to put yourself in the frame of mind that whatever it is that you're trying to do right now, whether it be 2 things, whether it be 1 thing, whether it be 25 things, I appreciate that. Everybody hitting the hearts. Keep going. Thank you, Grayson. Whatever it is that you're doing, however many things it is, you got to put yourself in the frame of mind that this absolutely has to work. Not I hope it works, not I'm working on it, not I'm trying to make it work, not it will work if this person helps me out, or if this thing breaks the right way, or if this, that, and the third happens. You have to put yourself in the frame of mind of this absolutely has to work. Because once you decide that something absolutely has to work, all the other stuff that's going to go into making it work, you'll figure it out because you don't have a choice but to figure it out. Like if you was on your deathbed and you trying to stay alive, it's not, oh, I hope I stay alive. It's not, oh, I'm working on staying alive. It's not, I think I might stay alive. I hope stuff works out. What's going on, Shifty Drew? I hope stuff works out. Is I have no choice but to stay alive because if I don't succeed in this, then everything else is going to fall off. This is the only thing that matters right now because if this doesn't work, nothing else can work because I'm not going to be allowed to make it work. So you got to put yourself in the frame of mind that this absolutely has to work. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know who's going to help me. I don't know where I got to go. I don't even know what I got to do, but I know that this absolutely has to work. And when you put yourself in the frame of mind that something absolutely has to work, your most powerful tool goes to work, and that is your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is where all your knowledge is at, all your ideas are at. There's power in your subconscious mind that you probably don't even know the strength of that power because very rarely do we as humans tap into it. Because a lot of what we do every day is habitual and we're not really thinking about it. Our subconscious mind is controlling it, but it's like it's on cruise control. It's on cruise control. Now, when you put yourself in the frame of mind, this absolutely has to work. Whatever I'm doing, I have to get to this destination. I got to make this much money. I got to close this sale. I got to make this phone call. I got to make this basketball team. I got to make this video. I got to finish writing this book. Whatever it is that you're doing, your subconscious mind comes awake because it's like, oh, we got to? Okay, now here's some resources for you to make it happen. You like, damn, where was all these resources before? And your subconscious mind's going to tell you what I'm going to tell you right now. You didn't call on me the right way. See, to call on your subconscious mind the right way, you got to give it an absolute. It's not a maybe. It's not a preference. It's not a I hope. It's not a if this, that, and the third happens, it'll work out. It's an absolute, like, hey, this absolutely has to happen. And I'm ending with this, a story from this guy named Napoleon Hill. Y'all heard of Napoleon Hill, right? He wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't heard of Napoleon, you heard of that book. And in one of his talks, Napoleon Hill, now he wrote this book in like the 30s, like back when the Great Depression was going on. So Napoleon Hill has been long gone, but his audio tapes of him speaking still exist. So Yes, this is about to be the end when I get through the story. I ain't doing that hour-long scope again. I got other stuff to do tonight. Now, Napoleon Hill was coming up with the title. He had written the book already. The book was pretty much already written, and his publisher was like, hey, this is a great book, but what's the title of the book going to be? And he hadn't come up with the right title. He had a working title, which is like the title you give it while you're working on it, but you're not sure that's the definite title. And he didn't really like the definite title. His publisher didn't like the definite title either. And one day, his publisher called Napoleon Hill, and he was like, listen, I need the title to that book tomorrow morning. And Napoleon Hill was like, what you talking about? What you mean you need the title tomorrow morning? He was like, listen, we need the title tomorrow morning, and if you don't come up with a title by tomorrow morning, I'm going to make your title for you, and I'm going to put the title on the book. And Napoleon said, well, what's the title that you're going to give it? And the publisher said the title's going to be Use Your Noodle and Get the Boodle, something like that. And Napoleon Hill was like, what are you talking about? You're going to ruin my whole career. Like, this is a dignified book. This is a great book. If you give it that title, it's not going to do what I want it to do. And the publisher said, listen, I don't care what it does. That's going to be the title unless you come up with a better title by tomorrow morning. So Napoleon Hill said that night, before he went to bed, he sat down on his bed and he started talking to his subconscious mind, like out loud talking to it. Not the meaning that you got to do it this way, but understand the mentality of it, not the actions, but the mentality. He talked to the subconscious mind and said, listen, I absolutely need you to deliver a title to this book tonight. It can't be tomorrow. It can't be next week. This has to be $1 million title because this is $1 million book. I know it is, but without $1 million title, this book is not going to perform the way that I want it to. You absolutely, subconscious mind, have to give me this title. And in the middle of the night, the title woke him up as if somebody had, it was like somebody had physically grabbed him and shook him awake because the title woke him up. Think and Grow Rich. He called the publisher and said, I got the title. The guy said, what is it? He said, Think and Grow Rich. He said, you got it. That's the title. And that book has been 70 plus years since he put that book out and is still a bestseller to this very day. It's still people quoting that book and reading that book all the way in 2015 because he came up with that title. People quoting the title of that book who ain't even read the shit before because he came up with that title. And the purpose of that doesn't mean you got to be writing a book. Doesn't mean you got to yell at yourself before you go to bed. But hey, maybe that might work. It's the mentality of it. Is that he said this absolutely has to work. And when you tell your subconscious mind that something absolutely has to work, it will deliver for you. The problem that most people have is they can't fully commit to telling themselves that it has to work. Because they know if they tell themselves it has to work, you put in the risk. You betting on yourself. And when you bet, you know you might lose. And so many people are afraid of losing that they never bet on themselves. And I'm not talking about betting in a casino. I don't bet in casinos. I don't play blackjack. I don't even know how to play poker. I don't mess with slot machines. I don't do no FanDuel or DraftKings and none of that shit. Listen, you got to be willing to bet on yourself to the point that you say, listen, either this is going to work or I'm going to fall flat on my face trying to make it happen. And it's going to be public and everybody's going to see me fall on my face. Or this absolutely has to work. You got to put your subconscious mind in a position where you say this absolutely must work. And when you say that, your subconscious mind will deliver. But you got to put 100% of yourself into the delivery of, you got to put 100% of yourself into the instructions to your subconscious mind. Yo, this got to work. Not maybe, not I think, not let's try, not let's see if it works out, but it absolutely must. And when you give your subconscious mind unequivocal directions, it will deliver. But when 1% of you is not behind it, it won't deliver. It won't even wake up. It's kind of like a door. Like if you ever try to break down a door and you put 99% of your strength into it, you can't break it down. When you put 100%, that 1% difference breaks everything down. It's like if you boil in water. You heat up water to 211 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not going, or is it Celsius? 211 degrees Fahrenheit. The water gets really hot. 1 degree difference, 212 degrees, the water starts boiling. It's the exact same thing with the subconscious mind. 211 degrees will not get it done. You got to bring it to 212. That's the only way you're going to get the water to boil. That's the only way you get the subconscious mind to do what you want to do. That's the only way you're going to be able to place a bet on yourself and actually win and win big. I'm not talking about win small. I'm talking about win big. Whatever it is you want to do, you want to win big, you got to put 212 degrees into it, not 211. It got to be full, all out. It got to be get rich or die trying. It got to be your man died. It got to be the die is cast crossing the Rubicon. Be Julius Caesar. You could rule all of the known world at the time. And that's it. That's all. We ending it right there. I'm about to eat dinner. Work on your fucking game. DreAllDay.com. Thanks for checking out this video. Make sure you follow all my top content up here. Follow me on all your favorite social networks right over here. And make sure you are subscribed to catch all the new content I put on this channel every single day. Work on your game.